Live in high definition from the area's most experienced news team, this is NBC29 HD News at 6.
After a night of torchlit terror at the University of Virginia ended in a scuffle under the statue of Thomas Jefferson, supporters of the Unite the Right rally marched, some armed like a militia, into Emancipation Park to exercise their free speech right.
I'm just coming out here to support against the removal of the statue of Robert E. Lee.
I'm shaking right now. It's really kind of spooky.
But before the rally could even begin, violent clashes break out between supporters and counter-protesters. Police order everyone out of the park.
By authority of the Commonwealth of Virginia, this event has been declared an unlawful assembly.
Virginia's governor declares a state of emergency, mobilizing the National Guard to respond to the chaos in Charlottesville.
I don't think this is not a proud day for Charlottesville. It's not a proud day for Virginia.
Tonight, a community prays for peace
We are marching in the light of God.
and hopes to heal following a day of hell. NBC29 team coverage starts right now.
First tonight, we are following a developing story. One person is dead in this horrific crash, which we have edited at the moment of impact. But watch it from a different angle here. Dramatic and upsetting video showing the moment a car plowed down 4th Street through the downtown mall. The driver backs up that one-way street and zooms away from the scene. Several people are hurt tonight. A crowd gathered around the injured, and people with medical training rushed in to help. At this point, authorities say one person is dead and 19 more injured.
The city's Commonwealth's attorney is treating this as a homicide case. We also understand the governor expected to join local authorities at the Albemarle County Office Building any minute now for a news conference. They want to talk about all of today's events, including that crash. We, of course, will bring that to you when it happens. We've also learned police arrested the person suspected of driving that car, but no word yet on who that person is. This is video of officers arresting the suspect on Monticello Avenue in Charlottesville. That whole scene played out just about 1:30 this afternoon along the 4th Street crossing, again on Charlottesville's downtown mall. Now, this is some drone footage as that impact happened. The silver Dodge Charger seemed to back up and then took a running start at a group of counter demonstrators as they tried to make their way up 4th and onto the downtown mall.
And just went flying everywhere, the pedestrians. And I mean, it's the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life.
There was blood all over the street. The car did not have any plates. Tinted out windows, we couldn't even see them. It seemed like it was planned.
Many of those people were laying at that scene while police and first responders rushed in to help. University of Virginia hospital officials are treating the people who are involved in that crash.
A hospital spokesman talked with reporters just within the past hour. Take a listen.
From the incident on the downtown mall this afternoon, we had 20 people transported to the UVA Medical Center. 19 of those patients are being assessed and treated, and unfortunately and sadly, we did have one fatality among those 20.
Late this afternoon, Charlottesville Mayor Mike Signer tweeted saying, quote, "I am heartbroken that a life has been lost here. I urge all people of goodwill, go home."
Happening right now, we have unconfirmed reports a state police helicopter is down in Albemarle County.
This is all happening on Old Farm Road that's near the Bel Air subdivision. NBC29's Casey Hott is on the scene of this breaking story with the details. Casey?
All right. Hi, Sharon and Matt. We are live in Charlottesville's Bel Air neighborhood right now. It's right near the Birdwood Golf Course here in Charlottesville. Again, no official word yet from police, but we have been told that state police has taken over this investigation, and we're waiting on a press conference very shortly. In the meantime, we've been talking with some neighbors who said they saw the helicopter go down as it happened.
We kind of saw like a billow of smoke, I guess, above the trees over there. My friend had just driven over and he was driving down 64 and he said he saw like a large billow of smoke kind of come up as he was coming over.
All right, so we're still waiting again to hear from Virginia State Police live out here in the Bel Air neighborhood. We'll bring you all the latest as we get it. Back to you guys.
Casey Hott live at the scene there in Albemarle County. Again, a helicopter, we believe to be a state police helicopter, crashed There we are following those latest details. Now, all of this, the clash between opposing groups took over the streets of Charlottesville even before that Unite the Right rally's scheduled noon start could get underway.
Take a look. The pro-white groups and counter demonstrators spent about 2 hours in repeated skirmishes on East Market Street. State police say people threw cans full of concrete at each other, along with pepper spray, tear gas. They used other weapons. Police declared an unlawful assembly just prior to the rally's official start time.
I don't think this is not a proud day for Charlottesville. It's not a proud day for Virginia to see two opposing groups who have sides, that they have a freedom of speech, but to turn to violence is not the way.
I'm just amazed that the police have allowed people to assault other people, to throw things at them.
Tonight, people, including criminal defense attorney Jeff Vogel, are questioning why it took police so long to intervene and call for that unlawful assembly. It is a question police have yet to answer.
Rally organizer Jason Kessler spoke to NBC29 this afternoon after all that violence unfolded. He talked with us on the phone from an undisclosed location, as he claims, due to safety issues.
The Charlottesville city government and police refuse to do their jobs. They refuse to protect our events and enforce the terms of the permit as ordered by the federal judge. They created an unsafe environment and denied us our rights.
Kessler had no comment when asked if he would attempt to have his rally again in the future, but in a video he posted online, he threatened to file another lawsuit. When asked, he told NBC29 he had no comment on the plans of the rally's supporters for tonight.
Several people on the other side of the rally who protested the alt-right also complained about the police action during that rally. Several clergy members joined arms at the edge of Emancipation Park to block any alt-right members from getting into the park. And at one point, a medic designated to watching the clergy described a scene that upset her a great deal.
Standing on the steps, and I watched the alt-right come up and assault the clergy. One was hit with a cardboard wooden banner that was made out of plywood, slammed a bunch of clergy aside, was hitting female and male clergy, and broke the line and went through. I wasn't sure that the police officers off to the side could see it, so I went over and I said, clergy are being physically assaulted right now. You need to go and stop. They are assaulting clergy. And the cops just shrugged, smirked, and refused to do anything about it.
Others complained when fights broke out, the police did not step in to stop the skirmishes.
The people who showed up to protest the Unite the Right rally spent weeks gearing up for all of this.
They came prepared with their chants, their signs, and for the possibility of violence. That is exactly what they got. These two groups that could not be further apart in their beliefs met for what became an ugly matchup. The familiar chant filled the air early on as protesters readied themselves for the main event. Members of the anti-alt-right had one goal: stop a rally they called the embodiment of hatred and racism.
We don't know if anybody's trying to come through here, but we're not going to move.
Clergy from across the country joined Congregate Charlottesville to resist the white activists.
We are here to be a pastoral presence to both counteract and confront white supremacy, to let folks know that we believe white supremacy is a system of sin, a system of evil, and we are going to do everything in our power to dismantle white supremacy.
The anger spilled out early on, just as the people attending the rally started to arrive, with the alt-right calmly entering the park at first. But that did not last long, and the fight started in earnest on Market Street.
What you're witnessing right here is two groups that despise each other, but the police are standing at least a block away. People are spraying pepper spray at one another. They're throwing bottles and rocks.
Both sides also used sticks and fists, and the street fights turned truly ugly. Then police began to mobilize, both on the ground and on a nearby roof. What happened next made protesters feel vindicated.
This gathering has been declared to be an unlawful assembly. In the name of the Commonwealth, you are commanded to immediately disperse. If you do not disperse immediately, you will be arrested.
Are you serious? I win! Get out!
Police forced the ralliers from the park because of the violence which shut down the main event before it even started. And again, that main event was supposed to start at noon, but police shut it down just about 10 minutes ahead of the start time. And at this point, police say they did arrest one person. 35 people are hurt, including those 19 people involved in that horrible car crash on the downtown mall.
Following the declaration of a local emergency by Charlottesville and Albemarle County, Governor Terry McAuliffe also declared a state of emergency. That way they can mobilize state resources to support the local authorities.
In a statement, he said it is now clear that public safety cannot be safeguarded without additional powers, and that the mostly out-of-state protesters have come to Virginia to endanger our citizens and our property. I am disgusted by the hatred, bigotry, and violence these protesters have brought to our state over the past 24 hours. In an afternoon press conference, President Trump condemned today's violence, but did not denounce any particular group.
We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. It's been going on for a long time in our country.
Prior to his remarks, President Trump tweeted, "We must all be united and condemn all that hate stands for. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one."
Before the rally violence broke out, NBC29 spoke with supporters of the Unite the Right rally. Groups started showing up there in Emancipation Park as early as 9 o'clock this morning. Unite the Right demonstrators packed the park shortly before noon. The rally was supposed to last 5 hours. Those we spoke with said they were here to protect their heritage, among other things.
I'm just coming out here to support against the removal of the statue of Robert E. Lee, along with the various groups here, Traditional Worker Party, Identity Europa, as well, to support for all of them.
The rally demonstrators arrived with shields, headgear, and paraphernalia, including flags and weapons.
After the unlawful assembly was declared at Emancipation Park, many of those white activists began making their way to McIntyre Park. A steady stream of them made their way down the 250 bypass and into McIntyre Park by the Brooks Family YMCA. A crowd of about 100 people gathered.
Concerned about is that they're all walking here, and I don't see a single police officer here. I don't see a National Guard. I see a helicopter in the sky. And this is a family neighborhood, and I think that they should have preempted this and been ready for this.
By about 2:30 this afternoon, all that remained were just a few small groups of people standing around as Albemarle County Police and the state police watched over the park.
And after all that confusion, many stayed behind in Emancipation Park to clean up after this morning's protests. A small group mainly consisted of people not involved on either side of the rally. They wanted to make a difference and help the community get back to normal. And this is just into our newsroom. Authorities have now confirmed 2 people are dead in that helicopter crash in Albemarle County. Reports are not yet confirmed. Still waiting to find out if it was, in fact, a Virginia State Police helicopter.
All right, lots of news breaking at this hour. We, of course, are going to keep you informed. Remember, too, we have coverage of today's events still ahead, including a news conference we're waiting for. The governor, the city mayor, and city manager, as well as police chief, are all expected to speak. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Tracking a few showers and thunderstorms on this warm and humid Saturday afternoon. Right now, just north of the city of Charlottesville, out toward Cash's Corner and out toward Rio, you can see some of the heavier rain in progress here. Moving off to the east, some of the rainfall rates greater than 1.5 inches per hour. Again, that is moving eastward. We'll go a little farther west, and we see a few showers that have made it off the higher terrain of the Alleghenies through portions of western Rockingham and western Augusta. Right now, the more focused line of storms is to our north across much of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and northern Virginia. So we could still see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms this evening. Not everyone's going to see rainfall as a cold front will continue to work across the region. A severe thunderstorm watch does encompass portions of northern Virginia, Maryland, up into Pennsylvania until 11 o'clock this evening. Temperatures at this hour, low and middle 80s. Yes, it's quite humid. We're out ahead of this approaching front. Temperatures tonight, again, shower and thunderstorm activity mainly before midnight will lower generally into the middle 60s. There will be some areas of fog. And then tomorrow, a little less humid here for our Sunday and largely dry. Temperatures low and middle 80s. The front that comes through tonight stalls to our south and then may return back with some showers as we start early next week, but temperatures will be a little bit cooler. So here we are tonight, still some showers and thunderstorms to deal with, but not everyone sees rainfall. The front will clear the region by early tomorrow morning. There'll be some fog to start. We'll start in the 60s. A little bit of a northerly, northeasterly wind tomorrow will knock the humidity down a little bit, so it won't be quite as humid. 80 to 85 for afternoon highs. And then as we get into Monday, that same front may return northbound to bring us a chance of some scattered showers, but temperatures by Monday will be even cooler, upper 70s to lower 80s. So still some scattered thunder showers here this evening, otherwise variable clouds, areas of fog, temperatures in the middle 60s. Here's a look at the Michael and Son 7-day forecast. Again, less humid here for our Sunday. Showers may return as early as Monday, and temperatures fairly nice as we head into next week with a drying trend expected by Wednesday.
Welcome back. Businesses on Charlottesville's downtown mall reacted very differently to today's chaos.
Many of them closed up shop, of course concerned about the potential of violence, but others say they were determined to keep their doors open. NBC29's Lowell Rose is downtown with more NBC29 team coverage. Hi, Lowell.
Good evening, Matt and Sharon. Most businesses on the mall chose to close today, but others like Vita Nova and Miller stayed open.
We love the pedestrian mall. My wife and I just moved here, and we wanted to come down here and show support for the businesses that are open.
That was the mindset of many people enjoying the downtown mall Saturday despite the rally.
This is kind of a big risk, especially.
We want to get back, we'll get back to all that, but
Sure.
right now we want to go to a press conference. Governor Terry McAuliffe getting ready to speak about all of this.
Along with a lot of city leaders. Let's go ahead and listen in. It's at the Albemarle County Office Building.
Well, good evening. I'm Terry McAuliffe, Governor of the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Today was a very sad day for our great Commonwealth and the city of Charlottesville. We know of now 3 fatalities today, in addition to many individuals who have been hurt. But let me start off first by thanking all of our law enforcement officials. This could have been a much worse day today. I want to thank our local law enforcement individuals. I want to thank the first responders. I want to thank all the state police, to the National Guard, and everybody else who was involved in today's activities. We planned for a long time for today's incidents. I also want to give a special thank you to the clergy who were here today, who helped us on the streets. I also want to thank those courageous UVA College students yesterday who last evening surrounded the statue of Thomas Jefferson to protect that statue. And I have a message to all the white supremacists and the Nazis who came into Charlottesville today. Our message is plain and simple. Go home. You are not wanted in this great Commonwealth. Shame on you. You pretend that you're patriots, but you are anything but a patriot. You want to talk about patriots, talk about Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, who brought our country together. You think about the patriots today, the young men and women who are wearing the cloth of our country. Somewhere around the globe, they are putting their life in danger. They're patriots. You are not. You came here today to hurt people. And you did hurt people. But my message is clear. We are stronger than you. You have made our Commonwealth stronger. You will not succeed. There is no place for you here. There is no place for you in America. We work here today to bring people together, to unify folks. I remind you all that we are a nation of immigrants. Unless you're Native American, the first ships that came to Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. And since that time, many people have come to our great country to unite us. Our diversity, that mosaic tile of immigrants is what makes us so special. And we will not let anybody come here and destroy it. So please go home and never come back. Take your hatred and take your bigotry. There is no place. And if I could give you a piece of advice, use your time and energy to help people. Come with me to a homeless shelter. Come with me to help a veteran find a job or a place to live. That's what we need help on, to bring people together. I spoke to the president this afternoon, and we had a conversation, and I told the president that there has got to be a movement in this country to bring people together. The hatred and rhetoric that has gone on and has intensified over the last couple months is dividing this great nation. We need to work together. I told the president that twice. I'd be willing to work with you if we can work together to bring people together. But stop the hate speech, stop the rhetoric in this country. We have got to bring people together. But we are a great Commonwealth, and we are a great nation. And we are even stronger today because of those actions of those people who came with their bigotry and hatred. I'd now like to introduce the mayor of the city of Charlottesville, Michael Signer.
Thank you, Governor. This is one of the world's truly great cities. We have been the home of a lot of history. We have overcome a lot in our democracy. We've overcome McCarthyism, we've overcome segregation, and we're going to overcome this. This tide of hatred and of intolerance and of bigotry that has come to us and that has marched down with torches the lawn of one of the founders of democracy, it is brought here by outsiders, and it's brought here by people who belong in the trash heap of history with these ideas. They're going to be in the trash heap of history. This day will not define us. We will define this day by the story that we continue to tell tomorrow and the tomorrow after that, the week after that, and the year after that. There is a very sad and regrettable coarseness in our politics that we've all seen too much of today. Our opponents have become our enemies. Debate has become intimidation. What democracy is about, and we know this here because we're the birthplace of democracy, it's about deliberation, it's about action, it's about progress, it's about working together, and it's about, at the end of the day, if you disagree with somebody, you don't try to take them down, you agree to move forward. These folks do not want that. They do not agree with the rules of democracy, and they are on the losing side of history. The work of rebuilding, of healing, is just beginning today. Tomorrow will come, and we will emerge, I can promise you, stronger than ever. With that, I also want to thank the state government. I want to thank Governor McAuliffe, Secretary Moran for all their help. My colleagues on the council, all four of them are here today. I want to thank the Charlottesville Police Department and their law enforcement partners from around the state protecting their residents. Visitors today at the University of Virginia, I want to say that our hearts break for the casualties and the injuries that have suffered today, and our prayers are going out right now. And please send your prayers to these folks and their families and their loved ones. Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our city manager, Maurice Jones, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hate came to our town today in a way that we had feared, but we had never really let ourselves imagine would. I wanted to start today by thanking the Virginia State Police and our law enforcement officers and all the first responders who are here in Charlottesville today to protect our community. The Charlottesville Police Department and our state partners and the Virginia State Police were on the scene in our community very early this morning, anticipating large crowds. Our law enforcement was on hand before 10 o'clock this morning, actually began around 6 o'clock this morning. And unfortunately, as we went through this day, we had folks who came here to cause mayhem and chaos and mischief, and it resulted in three fatalities here in the city of Charlottesville. In the days and the weeks to come, our city will have many conversations in City Hall, in community centers, in our houses of worship, over our fences, and at our dinner tables. I would ask that, in addition to sharing our grief and looking back at this difficult and extraordinary summer, that we look forward. I would ask that we would consider the question of who we are as a city and who we wish to be. I would ask that we each seek opportunities to seek people who share our home here in Charlottesville, but who are outside of our circles. I would ask that we work to build meaningful relationships and foster strong connections. City Hall will be working with the community to rebuild our structures and repair damages. And we will also work to provide opportunities for our community to come together to mourn, connect, and move forward. But City Hall cannot build the bonds between neighbors or create new friendships. I'm calling on each one of our residents, not only here in the city of Charlottesville, but in the Charlottesville area, to come together and take all of this into our hearts and our daily lives today, and to begin healing as a community. If we all come together, we cannot fall apart. We will be with you, and we will be beside you, as together we write the next chapter in Charlottesville's history. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Chief Al Thomas, Charlottesville Police Department. Good evening. The premeditated violence that our community experienced today was completely unacceptable. The situation escalated rapidly into violence, and we had no choice but to deploy additional personnel from the Virginia State Police, the Virginia National Guard, to help disperse the crowd and move people safely through the streets. None of the injuries sustained today were due to engagement with law enforcement. As of late this afternoon, there have been at least 35 people treated for injuries by city personnel. 14 people have been treated for injuries resulting from individual engagements. 9 pedestrians were treated for injuries in a 3-vehicle crash at the intersection of 4th Street and Water Street here in downtown Charlottesville. Their injuries range from life-threatening to minor. The crash also claimed the life of a 32-year-old female pedestrian at the intersection as she was crossing the street. We are still in the process of notifying her next of kin, so we will not be releasing her information until that takes place as a courtesy to the family. The suspect vehicle that left the scene of the crash was located moments later, and the male driver is in custody with charges pending. We are currently treating this as a criminal homicide investigation. I also want to extend my appreciation to the many individuals who witnessed the crash for helping us by providing statements, photos, and video evidence. Again, the crash remains under investigation. So where do we go from here? For right now, we're encouraging people to return home. Please let our city of Charlottesville, our home, start to recover from this. What the world saw today is not the place Charlottesville is. We love our city. Let us heal. This is not our story. Outsiders do not tell our story. We will tell our own story. As is commonplace, we will be reviewing the events of the day over the next weeks and months. We are committed to providing our residents with a strong, safe city to live in and being partners in our community. Thank you.
Governor, we have those killed, they were killed after the alt-right was mostly disbanded from the park. And the city bears some responsibility.
You have been listening there to a press conference starting out with Governor Terry McAuliffe here in Charlottesville speaking about everything that happened here today. One of the big things we learned from this, 3 people confirmed dead. That's one person in that crash on the downtown mall, a car that plowed into a crowd there. 2 others in the helicopter crash we believe to be a Virginia State Police helicopter. 35 other people treated for injuries today.
We also learned from Chief Al Thomas, police chief in Charlottesville, that the victim in the car crash who died is a 32-year-old woman. They're still working to notify her next of kin, so they are not releasing her name to media. They also are treating this as a criminal homicide case. They arrested the man
is arrested.
Who was driving that vehicle, who seemingly intentionally plowed into those people. It looked like from the video that we all saw, and a lot of people took video out there.
Very hard to watch that. I mean, it's
backed up and intentionally took a running start at those pedestrians. Yeah, very difficult to
zooms right
watch.
in there. A very defiant Governor McAuliffe there today too, saying go home to the Nazis. He called them Nazis, white supremacists. He said go home and never come back. You are not wanted in this great Commonwealth. Shame on you. And he said that they came here with the intention of hurting people, which they did. 3 people dead and 35 hurt.
Mayor Mike Signer also spoke, calling these people ones who were going to end up on the trash heap of history. He said that is where they will end up. They will not define our city. We define our city.
Yeah, and City Manager Maurice Jones also calling on residents tonight and in the days and weeks and months ahead. This is going to take a long time for this community to really recover from all of this, but he says all residents need to come together and begin the healing in our community.
One of the biggest messages to everyone out there too, they say, please go home, let the city...
Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe tonight, and please let the city begin to heal. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
We want to return now to all of our team coverage on this day with the story interrupted by that news conference there in Charlottesville and the downtown mall. Businesses reacting differently to today's chaos.
Many of them closed up shop. They were, of course, concerned about the potential of violence. Others, though, determined to keep their doors open, and they did. Here is NBC29's Lowell Rose.
We love the pedestrian mall. My wife and I just moved here, and we wanted to come down here and show support for the businesses that are open.
That was the mindset of many people enjoying the downtown mall Saturday, despite the rally.
This is kind of a big risk, especially, what's going on right now. But it's kind of cool for someone to still keep their door open to the community because, that's all we got is each other.
Some shops chose to close early or just not open at all.
Some of the staff were worried, or their family was worried about problems, and they asked if they could be able to be off for the day.
Market Street Market, just 2 blocks from Emancipation Park, closed its doors at noon just as the rally was set to start.
We're open in protest today. We're not going to let hate shut us down.
Will Curley and other businesses posted signs that read, quote, "If equality and diversity aren't for you, then neither are we."
We have that sign posted with a number of other restaurants in the downtown mall. We're open in protest of this protest. We want to make sure that the community knows that we are here, we're open, and we're business as normal.
That was NBC29's Lowell Rose reporting, and tonight we understand normalcy is appearing to be slowly returning to the downtown mall. A few businesses are still open at this hour.
Leaders from many religions teamed up this morning to lead a march and rally in opposition to the alt-right rally.
We are marching in the light of God.
The Charlottesville Clergy Collective led that march from the Jefferson School to McGuffey Park, chanting and singing the entire way. In the park, the peaceful protest continued. Organizer Don Gathers, who chaired the Blue Ribbon Commission about the city's Confederate statues, had some very strong words for the alt-right.
Get out. This is our town. You're not welcome here. You're not wanted here. Your hate speech, there's no place here. And we will not allow you to come in and oppress us. We won't allow you to come in and intimidate us. We won't allow you to come in and take our town over.
The good people that I know who are here today are not only willing to keep us safe and stand up, but we're here to show the world, not just Charlottesville, not just Virginia, that this is our community. This is our city.
Vice Mayor Wes Bellamy, City Councilor Kristen Sakis, and State Senator Creed Deeds were all in attendance to support this counter-rally movement.
A peaceful gathering at McGuffey Park spread a message that love is stronger than hate. The People's Action for Racial Justice brought together all walks of life for a peaceful protest against all forms of white supremacy and racial intolerance. Groups were in McGuffey and Justice Parks holding signs like "Defend Seville" and "Unite the Right."
Take your hate back home. Hate is not welcome here. We do not believe in one group being higher than another. We do not believe in one race being higher than another. We are all people.
White supremacy has existed since the dawn of this country. It's part of what this country is built on, and it hurts people of color, it hurts everybody, and it needs to be dismantled.
McGuffey Park was also being used as a safe place for protesters with snacks and water. We'll be right back.
We continue to follow all of today's developments. Charlottesville police are investigating how a car plowed into a crowd of people. It is now being investigated as a homicide. We know that one woman, a 32-year-old woman, was killed and 19 more injured. A suspect has been arrested and is in custody tonight. Police only saying a male driver of that car.
Well, this afternoon's crash came after authorities declared an unlawful assembly in Emancipation Park, where, of course, counter-protesters and people there for the Unite the Right rally, all of the alt-right, clashed violently several times. Before that rally even officially began at noon, it was called off.
Right, and we are continuing to following another big story tonight.
That is the helicopter crash we told you about a little bit earlier. That happened in Albemarle County. It is confirmed 2 people died in that helicopter crash. We understand the pilot and 1 passenger.
What we have not heard from authorities just yet is if that helicopter was in fact run by Virginia State Police. It's something we've been hearing. We're working to confirm all of that. Of course, stay with NBC29 tonight for continuing coverage on your news at 10 and 11. We also have updates on Twitter, Facebook, and NBC29.com. And stay safe tonight.
Yes, and that is our hope for you. You have a safe night. We now join Nightly News in Progress.